Hello, I'm Reverend Rick, and it is my honor to be with you today. We really hope that this video is a blessing to you. And if it is, please consider making a donation. People watch our videos locally when they cannot necessarily come to church throughout the United States and the world. So please join us and click the link below and make a donation. Thank you, and let this be a blessing to you.
Let us prepare ourselves and put your hand over your eyes. I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today.
I open my eyes to see the spiritual truth today.
And now over your ears, I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today.
I open my ears to hear the spiritual truth today.
Now over your heart, just extend out your arms. I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today.
I open my heart to receive the spiritual truth today.
The spiritual truth that I'm working with today is much like last week. Last week we talked about your divine intelligence could never be stolen from you, and you could never lose it. It's always yours. Today we're doing a little different take on it. Your divine intelligence is indestructible. It can never be destroyed. It's indestructible. In fact, the only thing that can keep you from allowing your divine intelligence, which each one of you have no matter where you've been, each of you have divine intelligence. The only thing that can keep you from your divine intelligence leading you to your next steps is to ignore it. To ignore it. Did you ever notice that the word ignore is the root of the word ignorance? That's because when we are thinking that we're better than somebody else or less than somebody else, we're simply being ignorant to divine intelligence of oneness in our life. Whenever we're stuck in poverty thinking, we're simply being ignorant to the divine intelligence that we live in an abundant universe in our life. The only thing, the only energy I want influencing my thoughts really is spirit and spiritual principles in our life. And it might sound easy, but it's not. It's very tricky. It's simple, but it's not easy. We tend to let everyone and everything outside of divine intelligence, another word for God, another word for Allah, another word for Elohim, another word for the sacred grand tree. We simply allow everything and everyone outside of divine intelligence to start influencing how it is that we think in our life. We let the loudest voice in our environment begin to influence what it is, how we work in our lives. And often that loudest voice is really what I'm now calling the inner roommate, who can be a spokesperson for those people who are loud voices that are both gone on, they're away, they're not here anymore, they're dead, or they're alive but they're not right in front of us in our life. You know, I'm reading a recent book recommended by my doctor. It's called The Untethered Soul. And we're just going to put it up here because I'm not going to really have time to talk much about it. But here's the thing. It's a fabulous, fabulous book, this Untethered Soul by a guy named Michael Singer. It's a great help in helping us take our power back from the people, places, and things that are speaking through our inner roommate in our life. See, here's the thing. If your father was used to telling you that you spent money foolishly, unless your father is right in front of you right now and you're still running that tape in your mind that you spend money foolishly, what's happening is your inner roommate has just channeled your father. If your mother was somebody who said big girls should only wear black, that unless your mother's standing right in front of you telling you that right now, you're simply channeling your inner roommate who is talking on behalf of your mother. If there was a clergy person who said, your thoughts of love are impure thoughts, well, there's no God in the sky that's telling, no God anywhere that's telling you that your thoughts of love are impure thoughts. Your inner roommate is simply channeling some pathetic clergy person who is gone to tell you that your thoughts of love are not right. And if that's bad enough, but then your inner roommate is one who reads Vogue before it even hits the stands in your life, so that you can know immediately what clothes you should buy, what houses are prestigious houses, what cars are babe magnets, and what should be owned by moms who have kids who are soccer. See, Madison Avenue, they know, and they want to talk to your inner roommate right away, because they know that his or her incessant dialogue, and I'm telling you, your inner roommate has incessant dialogue. It is talking to you all the time. It's talking to you when you sit down and you just give yourself a moment. Boy, that inner roommate will just start right there. Even when we don't know the inner roommate's talking to us, the inner roommate is talking to us. And it's getting through to our subconscious in our life. See, here's the thing. It's not your circumstances that are determining your future. It's your thoughts about your circumstances that are determining your future. It's not your upbringing that's determining your future. It's your thoughts about your upbringing that are determining your future. It's not your bank account that's determining your future. It's your thoughts about your bank account that are determining your future. It's not your body that's determining your future. It's your thoughts about your body that are determining your future. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy that we have here, it says, change your thinking, change your life. And so today, this day, I'm asking you to make a commitment to start doing your own thinking. Evict your roommate. Get out. Now, here's the thing. The way to evict your roommate is not to tell your roommate to shut up. Your inner roommate. I don't have time to tell you how to evict your inner. You got to buy the book. I wish, and I don't get anything from this book, so it's not like I want you to buy it for me. I want you to buy it because it's got great stuff in it, including how to get your inner roommate to be quiet, to not be talking all of the time. The Untethered Soul by Michael Stewart. See, because here's the thing. When we want to get to the point where we've taken our power back enough that we can think what inside of us, that divine intelligence, is directing us to think and to do. That's the point we want to get to in our life. Not what society is telling us to do, not what your parents are telling you what to do, not what your adult children think you ought to be doing, and I know there's a great deal of that going on. None of that. Not what your spouse wants you to do, but what the divine intelligence that is within you wants to do. Jesus understood that. He understood it. He thought outside the common bounds of the cultural messages of his time. And he said, you know what? There's really no need for us to be saved. He thought outside of the common bounds of the time. Gandhi thought beyond the bounds of what was common in his time. And he said, you know what? I don't need British people to tell me how to live. I'm an Indian, and I can tell you how Indians should live. I know how to do that all by myself. He thought beyond the common time. Colin Kaepernick thinks beyond the common of his time. He said, I don't need anybody to tell me how to protest how black men are being treated in America today. I know how to do that, and I'm going to do it because I'm thinking beyond the common part of our time. Harvey Milk thought beyond the common part of his time, and he said, you know what? I know how gay people should be treated. I don't need anybody else to tell me how gay people should love and live in this life. How did he do that? He listened to divine intelligence. He wasn't letting society tell him how to think. Was it easy? No. Was it easy? No. Most of the people I just talked about were killed because of the way they thought in their life. But while they were alive, they were alive. They were completely alive. They learned how to walk forward while looking forward. A lot of us are looking forward, but we're not walking forward. We see a shiny little thing over here, and boom, we're gone. We see a shiny little, boom, we're gone. So we're kind of walking this way. Those guys knew how to walk forward and look forward in their life with every single step. Beyond the pebbles, they looked at what's going on now, but they also look beyond the pebbles in your life. The job you lost, that's a pebble. The mate that walked out on you, that's a pebble. This president we have right now, a pebble. A pebble. A pebble. The mistakes you made in your past that other people want to keep bringing up and helping you remember, pebble. Pebble in your sorry bank, pebble. Pebble. All of it are pebbles, and we can look beyond that. And when we understand how spiritual law works, it becomes much easier. Not spiritual gift giving, but spiritual laws. That's where we can kick those pebbles aside. Jesus, Kaepernick, Gandhi, Mill refused to accept the delusional state so widely offered today in the newspaper, in television, in music. Those are delusional states. We have enough divine intelligence in us to be able to move forward to a more perfect life. Not a life of perfectionist, as we heard this morning, but a life that is a more perfect state for us. We have a woman in the congregation who several years ago was diagnosed as being she was going to be debilitated all her life. She had some bones that had disintegrated in her neck. And so she went to the doctor, and they finally said, look, we've done everything we can do for you. We can't do anything more. We're going to give you a year's prescription of morphine. We want you to go home. You're going to live a long life, but you're going to live it in bed. At the end of the year, come back. We're going to give you another year's prescription. That's how your life is going to be. And so she took that prescription of morphine, and she went home and she went to bed. And after she was in bed for a couple of months, she said, you know what, this really isn't working for me. And so she got up. And she bought a little business that she could handle by being somebody who couldn't work every day 8 hours, but she could grow this little business in her life to the point where now she's looking to buy a sailboat in her life. How did she do that? She began to not look at what the doctors were telling her, but is she still in pain? Yes. X-rays don't, the bones have not grown back. She's still in some ways compromised, but she's living the fullest of her life. Why? Because she began to look at the divine intelligence that is within her. She began to listen to what was inside of her. We have people in this church who are ex-convicts, and they could have come out of prison and said, I'm an ex-convict, but they don't. They come to this church, and they came out of prison, and they know that they are winners with good lives ahead of them. Why? Listen to the foolishness of what's being said about them, and they began to listen to the divine intelligence that is within them. They gave their inner roommate, kicked that inner roommate out. See, we listen a lot with our subconscious. We have a grip of the old ideas that are stuck in our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is where your inner roommate will get all of the information to just keep nammering at you. And see, our subconscious mind is sadly much bigger than our conscious mind. And our thoughts and actions, most of the thoughts and actions that we do every day come from our old thinking, come from our subconscious mind. Most of us in this room have uttered the phrase, what the hell was I thinking? But a better question to ask ourselves is, what was I thinking with? What was I thinking with was the old mind, the subconscious mind, the lazy mind. And you know, it's hypnotic. This subconscious mind is hypnotic. And we just keep doing things over and over and over again in our life. Changing our thinking and changing our life is hard. That's why so many of us, when we begin to try a new way of thinking on, we get scared. We shoot for the booze. We go shopping. We get on the internet. Or in my case, we go to the cupcake store. We go somewhere. We go somewhere where we can begin to anesthetize ourselves, where that pain isn't so great in our life. It takes courage to shake off the routines of comfort and start adventuring with control over our own lives. And here's the thing, you're never alone. You're never alone. You're controlling your life with divine intelligence. That's your partner in this life. And it's very reassuring. It's very reassuring in this life. But see, here's the thing. We have to build a relationship with this divine intelligence before we're desperate. Before we're desperate. And I actually think that's why you came here today. Whatever the reason you think you came here today, I think the real reason you came here today was to begin to develop a relationship with this divine intelligence that is within you. And like any other relationship, whether it's a friend or a lover, you have to put time into it. You have to learn about that person. Don't you, when you start hanging out with somebody else, you want to learn about what makes them tick. You take time to learn with them. You know that you have to feed that relationship. You have to attend to it. You have to give it time. So here's your homework for the week. I'm going to ask you to give divine intelligence 5 minutes every day this week. 5 minutes. And I want you to do this. Just say, divine intelligence, what have you got for me today? That's it. How hard is that? Divine intelligence, what have you got for me today? Now, you know, we don't preach that there's a God in the sky. There's a God that is within them. And that God has information with you. Now, am I asking you to meditate? No. Don't meditate. Don't even meditate. Because I know the minute you're gone, you're somewhere else. I want you to just sit down for 5 minutes. Divine intelligence, what have you got for me today? And if you sit there for 5 minutes, now here's what's going to happen. The inner roommate is going to take over. And it's going to be gobbity, gobbity, gobbity. That's why it's 5 minutes instead of 1. Just say thank you, inner roommate, thank you. Divine intelligence, what do you got? What do you got? And I promise things will come through you. Let's take this message. There's only one power. It's really the power of love, and actually it comes through the power of gratitude. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for everyone in this church. I'm grateful to see that we're growing every Sunday. I'm grateful to see more people want to come and say, how does Spirit work in my life? I'm grateful for our sound team. I'm grateful for our video. I'm grateful for all of our ushers. I'm grateful for the board of trustees. I'm grateful for this band. Both bands today. 2-band church. What's that? I'm just grateful. I give thanks. I release this word into the law, and together we say, so it is.